everybody, it's Dana Brigman of the Canine Coach. I wanted to spend a little bit of time this morning talking about dogs that get really excited, really over-aroused, overstimulated, and just seem to be on the go all the time. They're moving, they're focused, they're agitated, they're non-stop, gotta have something to do. And what I see happen a lot of times is that we try to burn off all that energy. And I was in a workshop this weekend where we were working on our essential oils and doing some relaxation techniques and things of that nature. And the dog that was there is one of these high aroused dogs, just got to do something all the time. So the stillness of trying to use essential oils and techniques that are intended to create relaxation, she was having a hard time with, right? It's not her normal MO. And so the handler, who is a foster, was kind of the mindset of we've got to go burn off some energy. And so this is not about, saying you screwed up, you did it wrong, though a lot of times when I have to educate, it feels that way, right? It feels like I'm calling somebody out and saying you've screwed everything up. But this is the common thing people want to do, right? They want to take that dog, go outside and work them, throw the ball for them, do something that is perceived to be an energy drain. And I always say you cannot fight arousal with aroused activities. You just can't do it. What you're doing more often than not is creating a reward for that dog. So here's a dog that's not doing what we wanted her to do in the class. She wouldn't lay down. She wouldn't be still. Getting very mouthy. She's a mouthy dog. And so the dog is very persistent. And what do? We take her outside and we play with her. So there's a reward for being persistent, having these bad behaviors, and not taking herself to a state of relaxation. So we rewarded the wrong behavior, right? And I say we because I don't want anybody to feel like it's them, though a lot of people do it. And so what do you do about it, right? How do you actually resolve this? It really boils down to all those things that I talk about with structure and leadership out on the blog site. So yes, I fully believe we have to create an energy drain somewhere. But it comes through more structured activities, more specific activities that are targeted to have rules and intention and a purpose that taps into the instinct of that dog, not just the aroused play of that dog. So we get them thinking, we get them problem solving, we get the mind involved versus just the body, which when we only do the physical exercise piece of it, we are building a better athlete, but we're not calming the mind, right? So this notion of a tired dog is a happy dog is an incomplete statement, if you ask me. A lot of people, a lot of trainers are trained and led to believe that if we just do place work for the next several hours and we require the dog to be still, that's going to shift the gears, right? That's going to change the arousal. It is a piece of the puzzle, but it is not the only part of the solution. So just this week, I saw a trainer, a video was shared of a trainer working a dog on place, and the dog was doing what it was asked to do, but it was still very anxious, very in high energy mode, if you will. It was on the mat, but it was not relaxed, right? Was not relaxed. It whined, it fidgeted, it whined some more, it fidgeted, and every time, every single time the dog made a sound or a move, it was corrected. So then they're fueling the anxiety, right? They're just keeping that dog in a state of anxiousness because the dog did not understand what he was doing wrong. He was where he was supposed to be, right? He wasn't breaking the place command, but he had not changed his state of mind. And they're trying to correct this dog into submission. Can't do that. You have to stay with the exercise long enough that the dog works out the stress, the anxiety, the frustration, all that comes with that, and basically chooses to relax, chooses to give up all that energy, right? Sometimes the first few times this happens comes because they are fatigued, and that's okay. Most people don't wait long enough for the dog to actually go, I'm tired of being in this state of mind. I just need a nap, right? When they start to do that and we reward the fact that they got calm and relaxed, they will take themselves back there a whole lot more often. And place then starts to become associated with a state of calm, relaxed mind. You can then start to recreate that in other places, new places. So one of the things about this is if you can't create it at home, on a quiet Tuesday night, you're probably not going to create it at Starbucks or an outing or a class like the one we were holding here last weekend. So no judgment for that dog being in the state of mind it was in. That just means we have some additional work to do. And it's still allowed to be in the class, but it's just we have some things that we need to approach it. So what about this physical piece? What about this energy drain? How do we do that? So I call it the on-off switch, right? We need a place and a time that the dog understands I need to be quiet just because I was told to. And then they're going to take me out and engage play. So throwing the ball is a very repetitive exercise, right? It can become compulsive. It can become so, what's the word I'm looking for? So rhythmic and so such a patterned exercise that we're just keeping the dog aroused, right? We're keeping them in drive. We're keeping them moving, and you see me doing this, and I can see this exercise. So what else do? You engage the nose, right? You create scent games. You use food puzzles, right? Let them find food items or earn a different reward. They start to earn affection. Even if you are going to stick with like ball play, the ball comes out on your terms. In other words, it's put away until you say ready to play. And you can create the arousal, right? Just those words alone can be enough to turn that dog on. You can create the arousal, but then the game needs to have different rules. They have to sit and wait for you to throw it. They have to wait for you to release them to go after it. Change where and how it's thrown, meaning how far or how close, and do different things, create different patterns, create a different order, bring out a new game. Like pit bulls, I love them. I have one of my own. They are not the only breed, but they are a common breed that has very high drive, right? They're very motivated, very energetic, very drivey. And Poppy, for example, loves the flirt pole. Well, that game has to have rules, right? It comes out on my terms. She has to wait for me. I'll even set it up where the prey, if you will, is still, and I'll make her watch it move. I'll make her watch it go before I permit her to give chase. And so now her mind's involved, right? She's having to listen to me on something that has very much an excited arousal for her. Tug game, same thing. They have rules. When you say out for the object, they need to let it go, no matter what level of drive they're in. And you decide whether the game continues or not. Sometimes, of course, it'll continue, right? That's the fun of playing with the dog. Sometimes you'll be like, game over, and put the toy away, or just hold it. A lot of times what you'll see is when you say game over and you are standing there talking to somebody, or you're just holding the toy, they're trying to persist and get you to throw the ball again, or get you to tug again, or get you involved again. They're driving that game, right? So it has to become where you say enough, and they go, okay, I'm gonna go do something different, even though the toy is still out, even though the toy is still present in their, line of sight. All of these are things that give them a time and a place, and you balance the activities. You create moments of leadership and moments of control where letting them out of the crate, letting them earn their meal, letting them earn their affection, all are things they have to problem solve to do. And then you create lots of moments of this duration work that is just go quiet down, go be still. People ask me, if I put my dog on place, can they have something to chew on, something to eat, right? When you first start working these exercises, the answer is no. My answer is no, because I want them to figure out how to just be still. So for these drivey dogs, these over-aroused dogs, when they get something to chew, you can see them get really intense about it, and really energetic about that. So that's too much energy for a dog that we're trying to teach how to let go of the arousal, how to turn it off. And so we almost have to create these moments of just go be still and quiet your mind, right? So I hope this is helpful. If you have questions, if you want, more specifics about what you can do for your dog, I'm happy to discuss that with you. I'm a big fan of essential oils for calming, for grounding, for creating sort of that centeredness. It's a piece of the puzzle. For these really high drive dogs, I don't think there's enough essential oil to just tone them down. You've got to teach them how to change gears. But I love essential oils to be part of the equation. Food is also a major, major contributing factor. It's like a kid who's been eating ice cream at bedtime and they're wired. They're wound up and ready to stay awake for the next 14 hours, right? Dog foods that are high in carbohydrates, aka sugars, too much protein, too high of a protein for them, even the wrong protein source can fuel these dogs metabolically, so to speak, and keep them in the wrong state of arousal or the wrong state of anxiety even. And so when we start looking at the whole dog, nose to tail, what's going on nutritionally, what's going on emotionally, and what's going on in the mind, we can start to change who that dog, I shouldn't say who he is, but how he is in the settings that we need him to learn to be, adjusting. So place is a big, important skill. Gameplay is huge, and it's gameplay with you with rules, not just sending them out on your 40 acres and hoping that they burn off energy, right? That's not going to change it. And it's not just building a better athlete, it's building a mental game. And then our essential oils and our nutritions for a whole dog solution. Helpful. Let me know if you have questions.